Okay, cool. All right, so let me get back to it. Okay, so this is important document for the Hoodoo tradition. This is one of the reasons that we're examining it, not only for trustorical reasons, but also for cosmological reasons. We posted a statement on Facebook and we said, Rootwork is 1/8 of the Hoodoo tradition. Some people think that Rootwork is the Hoodoo tradition because they've just relegated Rootwork to, that's what some people have held on to or retained. So they think Rootwork is the entirety of the tradition. We said Rootwork is 1/8 of the Hoodoo tradition. The Hoodoo tradition's Akan Ancestral Religion is specifically dealing with the ritual incorporation of divine law and the ritual restoration of divine balance, the expansive and contractive poles of ancestral religion. So that's ancestral religion across the board. Wherever Afurakani people exist in the world, we engage in the ritual incorporation of divine law and the ritual restoration of divine balance. We seek to align every thought, every intention, and every action, every moment of every day with divine order, with the supreme being's order, Nyamewa, Nyame, and Sheshe, which means the great goddess and the great gods, the supreme being, Nyamewa, and Nyame, and Sheshe, their divine order, and Sheshe, arrangement. When we make legitimate mistakes, we engage the ritual process to incorporate law and restore balance so that we can realign our thoughts, intentions, and actions with divine order and get back on track with executing our divine function in creation. Afurakani people, African Black people, only as cells within the great divine body of the Supreme Being, only created human cells within the great divine body of the Supreme Being. We have a specific function to execute within the great divine body, just like every cell in your body, depending on what organ or gland or system is a part of. It has a specific function to execute within that organ, gland, or system. And when it executes that function, according to its parent organ or gland or system, then it's serving you, the great being, at the same time. We are in the same position. We are cells, we are children of specific organs or glands or systems within the great divine body, children of specific abosom, Orisha, Vodou, and so forth. And Akan forces in nature are called the abosom. And when we as cells serve our parent abosom or gland or organ, we're serving the great supreme being, the great divine body at the same time. And when we make mistakes, we have the ritual process. We've been given ancestral religion, as we call it, Nana Som, the capacity to incorporate through the agency of ritual, to align with the supreme being, great mother and great father, through the agency of the abosom and Akan Nsamanfo, the deities, and our honored ancestresses and ancestors. Through their agency, we're able to align with the supreme being to correct ourselves, get back on track, learn from our own Krawa, the divinity in our head region, and the other abosom forces in nature. We're able to align with divine order, find out what's in harmony with order, what thoughts, intentions, and actions every moment of every day are in alignment with order, and what thoughts, intentions, and actions are out of alignment with order. And we avoid those, overcome those, and embrace those thoughts, intentions, and actions that harmonize us with divine order so we can get back on track. We learn who to accept, who and what to accept, and who and what to reject. Divine order. We're talking about our culture, our way of life. Amamre, the way or manner, dere, of the Oman, the nation, the people. Amamre, our culture, our way of life, is the divine acceptance, the law, the love of order, and the divine rejection, the hatred, the repulsion of disorder and its purveyors. In order to accept order and reject disorder, in order to, just like you consume food for nourishment, but then you eliminate, you reject, you repel the waste. Expansion and contraction. You breathe in, so you can take the oxygen in to fire yourself up and purify yourself and so forth. You also breathe out, release toxins. Expansion and contraction. The acceptance of order, the rejection of disorder. We accept those things and objects and deeds and entities we need to accept in order to harmonize our thoughts, intentions, and actions with divine order, and we reject, we repel, we hate, we repulse those things, objects, deeds, and entities we need to hate, reject, repel, in order to maintain our living in harmony with divine order, maintain our thoughts, intentions, and actions with divine order. So this is what ancestral religion is. That's the fullness of ancestral religion. And therefore, we learn to align with the forces in nature that govern all of creation, and specifically those that govern our specific function, so we can execute our function in creation. If you don't know you have a function in creation, then there's no need for ancestral religion, to learn how to get back in harmony with order so you can execute your function. If you think you don't have a function in creation, then you can think that hoodoo is just about, you know, cultivating some roots to make some medicine to heal yourself or attack somebody or protect yourself, and that's it. But that's only 1/8 of it. So the expansive pole of ancestral religion is the ritual incorporation of divine law. The contractive pole is the ritual restoration of divine balance. So when you talk about the restoration of divine balance, that means if you've gotten out of order, then you seek to align yourself with order. And we talked about this in the first class very briefly. The expansive pole of order, the incorporation of divine law, the contractive pole of ancestral religion, the restoration of divine balance. So when we talk about the restoration, the contractive aspect, you have to do things to heal yourself or restore balance, remove dis-ease and restore balance. So 50% is the expansive pole, where you're incorporating order. And then the other 50% is the contractive pole, where you're restoring order once you get off track. That's 50%. Now, half of 50% is 25%, or 1/4. And then half of 1/4 is 1/8. If you look at the restoration of order, that's that 50%, that halfway point. Then we have plant life, animal life, mineral life, and Akan human life. Engaging plant life, engaging animal life, engaging mineral life, engaging other Akan human life to restore order. We engage plant life, plant totems, and so forth. We engage animal totems spiritually. We engage mineral totems spiritually. We engage other Akan human beings who are shrines of specific divinities and ancestral spirits. So through divination, they can assist us, help us to heal, and so forth. Mineral life, we're cultivating, you know, minerals and so forth for the use of power, to empower us to restore order. Animal life, utilizing animal life and so forth in the same fashion through animal totems. Even when animals transition, then their bones are used on shrines and so forth, or for divination, these various different things. And then you have plant life. You have specific plant totems that we're going to get into right now, talking about High John the Conqueror, so-called High John the Conqueror, and utilizing those plants, those roots, for healing, for medicine, and restoration of order as well. So if you look at plant life, animal life, mineral life, and Afro-Akani human life, comprising that contractive pole, if the expansive pole, the incorporation of order, is 50%, the contractive pole is 50%, then you break that down, that halfway down to 4, that's 1/8 each, and you get to the 1/8, which is plant life or roots and so forth. That is 1/8 of the entire tradition. Root work is 1/8 of the tradition. Then you have mineral work, you have dealing with animal totems, then you have other Afro-Akani human beings, and we're going to deal with that with regard to priestesshood and so forth. But then you have the incorporation of order, when you're invoking Diabosom and aligning with them yourself, dealing with your own Kra, your Nsamanfo and so forth. That's the incorporation. That's the greater, that's 1/2. And then you have the other half that's broken up into 8ths. So broken up into 4/8. So that's why we said specifically, mathematically, root work is 1/8 of the Hoodoo tradition. Only people who are fully invested, understanding the fullness of the tradition, can give that. And we're going to get into why that's true. This root is key, because this is the most ubiquitous root with regard to the Hoodoo tradition in North America that people are aware of. Now, the name of the article, Nyamma Kakadu, Akan, origin of High John the Conqueror, the man and the root revealed. So, the root contemporarily contemporarily known as High John the Conqueror, or John the Conquer, or Johnny Conqeroo, as you would hear Bo Diddley or Muddy Water say, Johnny Conqeroo, and so forth, or Kakadu, is a key component of the healing and ritual aspect of the Hoodoo religion. As we have proven in our book, Hoodoo People, Afro-Kanu Africans in North America, Akan, Custodians of Hoodoo, from ancient Hoodoo in Dunuland, Kanit, Nubia, which we went over in the first class in detail. Hoodoo is Akan Ancestral Religion, carried in the blood circles of our Akan Ancestresses and Ancestors to North America during the Mbusu Kessie, the Great Perversity, the Enslavement Era. We have proven in our broadcast series on Hoodoo. We've done about 27 broadcasts on Blog Talk Radio, each one of them about 2 hours plus each on different aspects of the Hoodoo tradition. In that series, we've shown that exclusively the Akan etymological and cosmological origin of the term. So if you look at these terms coming from the Akan tradition, and it takes, when we talk about intergenerational and transcarnational transmission of culture, it takes an Akan individual descendant from those Akan ancestresses and ancestors, Akan Nsamanfo, who brought the Akan tradition to North America and called it Hoodoo and so forth. It takes an Akan individual or individuals who are in alignment and in attunement with those Akan Nsamanfo to draw that information and bring it to the fore once again. Those who preserve the actual Akan Ndu or Hoodoo tradition in our blood circles for hundreds of years. It takes us to bring this tradition forward. The misinformation put forward by, of course, the whites in their offspring, but then misinformed Black people who are repeating the misinformation of the whites in their offspring because they lost on the surface different aspects of the tradition. It takes someone directly descendant of those Akan Nsamanfo, and specifically, as we're going to see, Akwamu Akan Nsamanfo, to bring this information forward. We are the first to prove conclusively who Nyamma Kakadu, or High John the Conqueror, actually is and what the root is. Now, we're the first also to prove these terms are all Akan Ndu, as we talked about in the first two broad classroom sessions. Ndu, the Akan term, is where we get Hoodoo from, and of course it goes back to ancient Kanit and Kemet, same term. Kankye, which we went into detail about in the second session, where you get kanje from, a conjure. Hintin, another Akan term where you get haint, a haint spirit, a spirit that's roused up, coming from the Akan term hinti, which means roused up. And as we said, in Suriname, the Akan people in South America, they call the deities themselves the hinti or the huinti, HW. There's a dialectical variant. Some Akan people say hinti for that roused up spirit. Some Akan people say huinti, HW, INTIN, hinti or huinti. So in the North America, we say hint, or later becomes haint. In South America, they use the other dialectical variant huinti, and they call the abosom the huintis and so forth, those roused up spirits that are conjured and so forth. So we went into detail about that. Mogya, Akan term for blood. Mojo is where mojo comes from. Ja and etja padye became Jack or Jack, and Jack ball, talking about that kind of medicine that's utilized within that kind of structure. Kompo or kompoa become gofua and gofa and gufa. Gufa doctor, gufa dust, come from kumfo or kumpwa. And then you have jo, meaning to shout, lament, or shout in a ritual context. Jo becomes shout and shout and shout and so forth, and the ring shout and so forth. And Akan people dancing in a counterclockwise circle during the Akom ritual practice for spirit possession. And you see the same counterclockwise circle in the ring jo, or the ring shout, or the ring shout in North America and so forth. So these terms are phonetically, conceptually, and thus cosmologically defined properly only within Akan language, culture, and cosmology. Everyone knows that all of these terms, hoodoo, conjure, haint, mojo, jack, jackball, goofer, shout, are all part of the hoodoo tradition. but nobody knew that every single one of these terms are specifically Akan terms and are part of Akan cosmology, the same names. And when you investigate Akan language and culture, you will find the detailed cosmological foundation for these terms. And they can't be isolated from one another. They're all part of this intricate system. When you look at the way the tradition is practiced properly in North America, you will find that we live out that cosmology, even though we didn't know on the surface that we were speaking that specific dialect, even though under the surface, unconsciously and spiritually, we know that we are Akan, and we're going to show that because we even call ourselves that without even knowing. It's critical to understand that these terms, as we said, are not defined in isolation. Each term and its related function is a component of the interwoven cosmological fabric that is Akan. Hoodoo religion is Akan religion.